Welcome to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Yeah. Alright, we're on part 7 of this 2003 Nissan Maxima GLE, the 3.5 engine. I figured it was going to take up to 7 to get this job done, but that ain't happening. As you can see, we're at part 7 already. And we still got a lot of accessories to add on, put the transmission on, and get this thing back in the car. So I have no idea how many parts we're going to go. When we left off, we put the upper oil pan up there. We got it cleaned up. On this episode, we're going to start putting all the accessories on. We're going to start off with the lower oil pan. You see I got it cleaned up around here. Now you can get a gasket, but trust me, you're better off using silicone, because the silicone, you tighten it up, metal to metal, and it's going to seal, but red silicone. So we're going to get our red silicone. But before we get into that, we'll get me some gloves on. And let me show you, because as you know, I got the parts laid out. So it's been about a month and a half, doing this vehicle, and as long as you got parts laid out, you got no problem putting this back together. But also you got the video. So I'm gonna get you. Let's go check out what parts we got left to put on, and I'll get this going. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, here we are. Oh man, before we started out, as you can see where the oil stains were, we was way back here. We're working our way up. As you can see, we're almost to our accessories and everything. So last thing we left off was the upper oil pan that was right here. So now I know the next is the alternator, then the AC compressor, the tensioner. We go up like that, and then we're gonna go around. Then the cats, the mounts, motor mount brackets, and go over the wiring harness for the battery cable. It's like a negative terminal. See, it's pretty. When you do it like this, you don't have to be in a shop professional. No, well, some ain't even professional really. But all it takes is when you take stuff apart, position it so you can put it back together, and it's no problem. Alright, the last thing is up there is the mounts up there. Alright, let's get back outside and put this together. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab the alternator and take this with me. We'll be right back. Alright, we got our upper oil pan right here. Lower oil pan, I'm sorry. Let's get us a bead of silicone. Right around the red inside ridges right here. That's when you want to make sure that line of silicone is applied to. You don't want to be cheesy with this. You want to make sure there's no leaks. Alright, let's go over here. Let's set it up on set it up on the engine. Alright. Okay, go around. Let's start our 10mm bolts. As soon as you get them lined up and all. Okay, get all your bolts in, and join me when you're done. Okay, we got our pan on. Now we're gonna go around 10mm bolt. Now you notice how I went crossways, because I want to make sure the pan goes down evenly. Alright, we're going to get those up, and also we're going to tighten up the oil drain plug, so we don't forget about that. And tighten them up. Okay, we got our point pan on. Now what we want to do is we want to rotate this engine back right side up. Alright, let's do that. Okay, engine stand is good to have. Alright, the next we're going to do is put on the alternator. So let's go get the alternator, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put that on. And I'm going to set the camera up in a better way. We'll be right back. Okay, our next part is the alternator, and I'm on the left side of the engine. Alright, I know my alternator goes over here, and I got some bolts in here that I see. I'm not sure about those yet, but here we go at the alternator, and I noticed I got a little bracket up here, so I know that bolt goes. See, that's why it's important to put your bolts back in there, so I ain't got no bucket of bolts looking around trying to find out where this goes at. I know that bolt goes right there, and then we got the long bolt at the bottom for right there. So let's get that on. Get up there. Whoops, wrong one. It's this one I'm looking for. Let's swing that up. Okay, we're good. Now the tensioner is somewhere else, so we know we can tighten these bolts up with no problem. And so let's go ahead and tighten up. Looks like we've got a 12mm and a 14. And actually we got two 12s. We got one right here, and then we got one in the back going to the alternator itself. And the extension. Okay, and we got a 14 at the bottom. Great job. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. We got all that connected up there. All right, I believe our next one is the AC compressor. So let's go get that AC compressor and install it. Man, I had a bad angle right there, huh? You know what? Let's angle it off like that so we know next time. All right, we're gonna get the AC compressor, and it's gonna mount at the bottom. Be right back. Okay, next step is the AC compressor. You got a good look at it right there. Now what we want to do is remove our bolts that we put in previously installed. Two back ones and a bolt right here, and a nut on the top. Okay, we want to install it like so. Put our bolts in here. And you notice I got gloves actually for that plastic, vinyl stuffed in there so no dirt get inside the AC compressor. Okay, looks like this one down here is a 12, and then we got 3 14s. Let's get those tightened up. Alright, and while we're over here, we got the plug to the AC compressor. Should be up a little bit. Let's get that plugged up. Now we're good, we'll go with that. It's done. Alright, now we're going to move the camera to the front of the engine so we can install the belt tensioner. Alright, be right back. Okay, we're set up in the front of the engine. Let's see, make sure we got a good look at this. Alright. We have our tensioner here, and what we're going to have to do is bring this tensioner in to get access to those 2 bolts right there. A little bit more. Good enough. Hold that into place. We already got our bolts in place. 3 12mm bolts. Alright, now what I got here, I'm using my air gun, but I got the setting set on medium because I don't need a lot of torque on this, but it's a lot quicker for me. Okay, let's tighten those 3 bolts up. Alright, let's go check out what's next on the list. Okay, we got the harmonic balancer, the oil cooler tube, and the power steering pump. Alright, we're gonna get these 3 out here instead of me walking back and forth, because I'm getting tired of walking back and forth. Okay, we're gonna get these 3. We know the harmonic balancers first, then the oil cooler tube, then the power steering. Alright, let's get these parts out there, and join me when I get back over there. Okay, we back out here, got our parts. What we're gonna do here is let's take off this bolt that holds in crankshaft, the harmonic balancer, and you got a little keyway right there. So you're going to line up that keyway, install it, just like that. It should go on nice and smooth. Put the bolt on, and what we're going to do is, this thing is tight. That bolt is tight, so you can make sure that don't loosen up. So I'm putting our air gun on high now. You got a 19mm bolt. Buzz that on. Okay, good to go. All right, the next is the oil cooler right here. Let's clean this clean that up right there and get that started. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, now we're at the oil cooler. Back this up a little bit. Got our bolt right here. Let's clean this off. Okay. Now we got our oil cooler. Let me make sure, yeah. And make sure you got that O-ring sitting inside there. And on the side, you got that little, see a little groove right there? That's gonna go right there, match up right there to the block. So let's get that on there. Okay, we're gonna tighten that up. And what I want you to do, let me see, make sure you can see, yeah, I got a little bolt over here. And 2 bolts. Let's get our bolts, get this bracket bolted up. Okay, we got 2 12mm. Let's tighten those up. And when we come back, we're going to tighten up the oil cooler bolt. Okay. We got, look like 12s. Yep. Put my setting back on medium. 2 12mm. Alright, this one is a 22. Alright, as you can see, this hose we ain't worried about because that's gonna go right up there. We'll hook that in there. Okay, but on the other side now, on the other side, you see this, it goes up to here. See, that's why I put everything back in place. I don't like to get my hands dirty. Okay, let's take this bolt down. It's not a bolt out of here. It goes right here. And then we got one out the way. Got this bolt over here. And we got a, looking at this is actually a gasket, so make sure you got that. Hooks right onto that. Alright. So we're going to put that on. Alright. Then, we'll go back down here. Get our 10mm bolt. Right there. And I'm not sure what size this is yet, but I'll let you know in a second. And put that on. Alright, so let's tighten that up. And let's see what size that is while we're here. Okay, it's a 19mm. So let's tighten those up. 19 and a 10. All right, tighten those up, and let's get that power steering pump on next. Okay, here we are on the right side of the engine. We got 2 bolts up here, and we got this 1 empty spot down here. Now, to put the power steering pump in, there's like like a spacer down there. As you tighten up the bolt, it squeezes in right here. As you tighten up the bolt, it squeezes in up against the power steering pump to make it tight. Now, if you're gonna put it in a new pump or whatever, you're gonna have to knock that back, because that thing gonna be really tight to put in. So it don't take much, as you can see. And don't be hitting it crazy, because remember, this is aluminum. Break that thing off. You're gonna be looking crazy in the face. All right, you see how I went back now? That's good. All right, let's set this back up over here. All right, now what we're gonna do, we got the bolt right here. It goes in like that. So we're gonna take that out. Take these two bolts out right here. 12mm bolts. All right, let's get our pump up there. And our pump. Get us a bolt in there. There, got that up there. Right there. Now on these, put this other bolt toward the back. Like that. Now on this, you want to tighten up these two, but leave the bottom one. Just bring it in just as snug, because this one does have a tension on it. So we're just gonna leave that hanging to the side for now, because we don't need that. And leave it right there. All right, so let's tighten those two up at the top, 12mm, and then matter of fact, we can loosen this one up so we can get that belt, get the tension off of there. All right, let's get that done. Okay, got those two bolts tightened up there, right there. Loosen up that one, and the bottom one at the long one at the bottom, that's in there, but it's not tight, because we're gonna have to use that for the adjustment to put the belt on. All right, next on the line, I believe it was the exhaust manifolds. Now, one I'm going to explain something to you, because if you go back on the videos, one of the cats are messed up. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do about that. I'll be right back. All right, here we got the cats. I marked this one right side, and this one's the left side. The problem we're having here is, see if you can see inside here. You see that? That cat's all messed up. It's gonna need a cat. Now I don't know. Depending on where you live. A lot of places have OBD2 inspection. So if that check engine light's on, you can't get that car inspected, then you can't get it registered. Here, some counties have it and some don't. Where this car is registered, it don't. So I can actually gut this cat out, blah blah. Okay, gut this cat out, and it will have no interference with inspection and all. But if that's going to be entirely up to the customer, they should get it done now, as you can see, because there wouldn't be no extra labor, because I got to put it up anyway. So get me the new cat, and I'll throw it up there, or it'll cost in the end, because remember, this is towards the back side of towards the firewall, so it's going to be a pain to get out of there, once it's in the car. So what I'm going to do is we're going to set this off to the side. And hopefully we hear from the customer soon. That's what we're going to do. But in the meantime, what we're going to do, we're going to pop off these gaskets and clean off the ports for the manifolds. Very important. You see that? That's a metal gasket. Those I'll use. Do not, I repeat, do not use those gaskets that's metal on the outside and cardboard on the inside. It's cardboard on the inside. The exhaust system gets close to 500 degrees, some even hotter. Eventually it's going to burn that cardboard right up, and it happens. It's guaranteed that it's going to burn out. So when it comes to doing something like that, use red silicone instead of the gasket. Trust me, it's gonna work, and it's gonna outlast the engine. That's how positive I am. I've been doing this for so long. Do it that way. Do not use those gaskets. Now these metal gaskets you use. Let's see, we got here. You got the metal gaskets, brand new. I'm gonna use those because I know they're gonna work. So let's set these gaskets to the side. Let's get us a surface grinder, surface prepper, and clean off all those ports. All right, we'll be right back. Now, if you're going to do it like I just did it, just go light on it, because that tool will gouge into this aluminum. So you want to make sure just enough just to get them shiny, get them coated off there. Alright? Okay, we're going to stick our gasket on, put the nuts back on it, then we're going to go to the other side. Okay, we're here on the left side of the engine. I just cleaned off the gasket. And what we're going to do here, alright, cleaned it off. I set the gasket back up there, put the nuts in on it. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get the tool, we're going to clean up over here and right here. Alright, and just like I said on the other one over there, we're going to wait for the customer to get back to us. It'd be best to do it now. Yeah. Alright, let's get that cleaned up and we'll be right back. Alright, we got this cleaned that up. We're on the left side. And what we can do is make this easier for us. Take this 3 10mm bolts out. You gotta take them out anyway. Let's take that heat shield off. All right. You want to make sure you start these bolts by hand. You don't want to cross thread them. Make sure they go on pretty good. It should be 6 all together. Okay, let's tighten those up. Let's see, it's like 14 is a favorite thing around here. Okay, 14mm. Let's get that and get our air gun, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're gonna start from the 2 centers and then go out. All right, we're good. And just like I said, we gotta wait for the customer on the other side before we put that in. So what we're gonna do is get our mount, our motor mount bracket, and bolt it in right over here. We'll be right back. You know, before we get to that, whoops, let's put our heat shield back on. Three 10mm bolts. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, here we are, still on the left side of the engine. We're gonna put our motor mount bracket on. Take off these 4 bolts right here, 14mm bolts. You can see I got that marked left. Now while we're over here, we're also gonna, we got the downstream O2 over here. Can you see this? It's going into a little bracket. It clips on into a little bracket down here. Snaps into place. And then it comes around here, and our cam crankshaft position sensor goes right here. That's going to bolt in right there. But we're going to wait. We're not going to put that on yet. We're going to wait for the transmission to be put in. But also we got this little clip here. It goes right inside there. And as soon as we get it, let's see which way it goes. Like that. Okay. It's going to go just like that and bolt up there. Alright, but we're not going to worry about that yet because we're going to put that transmission on because I don't want to break this sensor. So just going to leave that to the side. So we gotta remember that now. So what we're gonna do, let's get our 4 bolts tightened up. As I said, 14 millimeter. Okay, this is coming out pretty good. Got a line up here. Alright. Time to go find out what's next in line. Alright, we're almost at that point to install that transmission. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about that exhaust, that catalytic converter over there. I got an idea. What we're gonna do now, let's put this water outlet on. Where is this? Where's this thing at? Here we go. Okay, we got this water outlet right here. That's the next part we're going to be installing. Okay, what we're going to do is in the back of the engine, we got these, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 nuts, and over here these 2 10mm screws. Let's take those out and take those gaskets out, and we'll be right back. Okay, we got those off. Forgot to take the gaskets off. Let's take these gaskets off. Whether it makes it, pull these off of here. All right, next. Oh, okay, we got this 1 12mm bolt right here we got to take out too. All right, let's put these over here with the gaskets. Now let's get our surface grinder and let's clean off this old stuff right here. And we're gonna get a rag and wipe off inside of here. All right, let's do that, and we'll be right back. Now we're gonna go over here to the side. I'm just gonna wipe out these ports right here. All right, now let's go over here to our pipe. And what we're going to do is clean off where the gasket is, clean off over there, and get you a little small flat screwdriver. And we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Let's get us the airline over here. Now again, if you're doing it like I'm doing it with like this air tool, you know, this is just from experience. I'm not bragging or nothing, but I know how far to, you know, do that till I just start seeing it shiny, and then I stop. You don't want to keep on grinding down into it. This thing gonna leak. All right, next, what I want you to do is over here on the ends of the pipe, we got 2 O-rings. Alright, we're gonna get you your little screwdriver and pop those O-rings off. Alright. Gonna give us a little wire brush just to clean up in there a little bit. Be right back. Okay, as you can see, I'm down to like nothing. I gotta get a new brush, but it'll do just what I need. What you want to do is clean inside those grooves. Just a or you can get you a little hand brush and hand wire brush and do that. Alright, now what you want to do, got our 2 new O-rings over here. Come with the kit. Gonna put those O-rings on. Okay, now just so we don't have no problem with installation, just put a small amount of lithium grease around it. Gnats are terrible, man. I'm gonna give you some off. Gnats suck. Alright, now we're gonna get ready to put this on. So get your 2 new gaskets over here. Get your red silicone also. Alright, let me put some off on. I'm getting bit like crazy. And join me, meet me back at the back of the engine. Yeah. Okay, here we are at the back of the engine and the side of the engine. Make sure you can get a good look at what I'm doing here. Alright. There we go. Okay. These are water outlets back here. So, I don't want to take no chances. So what I'm going to do here is put a small dab of silicone, just a very thin layer, you know, better safe than sorry. Just around the port. I mean, they say you don't have to on this, but hey, it's not gonna hurt. Get that on. Let's get our other one. Stick it on. That's for like added protection, you know. I do not want no leaks coming from anywhere back here when I'm done with this. Alright. Now we got that part. Then we're gonna get our pipe. You want to carefully put the pipe on, and at the same time, you want to make sure it's going up into those ports right there. Then you got your little harness on top, so let's keep this out of the way. Okay, here we go. Make sure those are lining up over there. Okay. I'm just going to wiggle this in there, and they should slide right in. Okay. Perfect. Lined up. Okay. Got 4 12mm nuts. Let's get them on. Then we got 12mm bolt right on the side of the lower bracket. Then we got the 2 10mm bolts holding them lines in. Alright, you got that? Now let's tighten them up. Okay, I figured I'd show you this. When you're tightening these up, let's go with the back first. Whoops. Figured I get the wrong size. I just told you the right size too, 12mm. And I grabbed a 13. Alright, let's get these tightened up. Alright, now before we tighten up this 12 on the side, let's get those 2 10s in there, down there. And remember, I got the gun set on medium, so I know I'm not going to strip them out. Okay. Get our 12 up in here. We're good to go. Now, what I wanted to show you over here, and I'm pretty sure I showed you when we was putting this thing together. Right here, you got the O2 sensors going these brackets right here. Light blue, red, blue, and green. So, you know, so I make sure that I know where they're going. You know, because you keep it professional, you know. So I know that's green. I know that's going to be right there. We got a light blue right here. And the other one goes on the other cats. So, you know, that keeps it nice looking professional right here. Snap that in there. That's looking good. This thing's going to go back exactly like, you know, it came out. And just like I said before, if somebody didn't know no better, they're going to say, that engine was never taken out and redone. But this, as you see, this video proves it. All right, we are pretty much at a standstill because our next step is to actually put this transmission in. But you know, let's go. We got this wiring harness over here. You know, I might take this hose off and put that wiring harness up underneath there. We can start plugging this stuff up over here. Come down. We gotta figure out where that goes. Figures up there. Okay, we got the oil sender down here. Get that plugged up. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. Let's get that out of the way. And actually, you can see that it goes right there. You know, that looks like it would have to go. Let's get this harness down there between there like that. Yeah, there we go. Alright, you see that? We're gonna put that bolt on, bolt that thing on. Somewhere it goes, I don't know. There it is, right there. Alright, let's get those two 10mm bolts out and put that bracket on. Coming out great. That is coming out really good. All right, we got that hooked up. Everything's going according to plan. Okay, we're looking good. Looking real good. Alright, let's set this camera up in a different position and we'll be right back. Okay, let's back up a little bit here. I almost made a serious mistake here. I was looking at this harness and I was like, wait a minute, something right here. Now, we're looking at this harness. We got an exhaust manifold here. There's a lot of heat, so I got a feeling this harness, remove this bolt to our power steering pump. This harness is actually going to go on the other side of the power steering pump. This harness is going to go in between there. Okay. See, that's better. Stay away. It's got to stay away from that heat. Yeah, that's better. So, you know, so you want to make sure you watch that. That's more like it. All right, make sure no wires go up against that exhaust manifold, or they will burn, cause you an electrical problem. You wonder what's going on. All right, I got an idea on this cat, so let's go over here and look at this cat. We'll be right back. All right, now what I was going to do, because I noticed that, let's take off this heat shield. Now I'm not sure if the exhaust manifold is going to come with the new cat or not, but this does separate. So we're going to look that up. I might take that off and put the exhaust manifold on the car and just wait for the cat. All right. Dang, I hate being at a standstill. All right, we're going to wait. We're going to do that. We're going to wait. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to end our video. I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Be right back. Alright. You see, we got this engine pretty much done. What part are we on? 6, 7. On part 8, what we're going to do is get the engine hoist, hook up this engine, so we can work on the back, put the flywheel on. That's what's next in there. Bolt the transmission up. We're gonna put the transmission on a crate, so then we can lower and raise the engine as we need to bolt it up to the transmission. We're gonna make sure the converter is in the transmission properly, making sure it's seated right inside that pump. I'll show you that. And we're gonna get ready to slide this up under there, and hopefully we get a response on this catalytic converter. It's coming out pretty good. It's coming out really good. This is Timmy from Astral Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can. And you know, before we go, I'm gonna give you a look at what we're working with here. All right, this is how we got set up right here. This is how we got this set up. You see the Nissan and all. So you know that's where we're at. It's a little canopy. It's really nice. Had to make some adjustments to it and all. Yeah, there's our van. All right. Okay, I will see everybody on part 8. Have a good night.